Hi, this is Patricia of JourneyToBestMe.com, all about helping women unleash her and create her extraordinary life and live fierce, fabulous, and fulfilled. I want to talk about that four little word that has kept so many of us or keeping so many of us hostage, and that is fear, which I've done a video about fear before, but I want to come back and when this time it's like, understand that fear is normal and faithful. And I say it's faithful because it will come up anytime you want to change your life or embark on a new journey or step out of your norm. Fear comes up. And that's what I say. Fear is normal and it's faithful. And when you think about it, we have it's in our nature to have the flight or fear mechanism. It's built into us, and that's what I say fear is normal. So the question is, are you allowing fear to hold you back, or will you continue to allow fear to hold you back, or will you move in spite of? Will you take action in spite of? And like I say, I'm speaking from my own experience of how I allow fear, and that fear of failing when it came to, stepping out, pursuing my dream. It was fear of failing or fear of what people will say. And even there is such a thing as fear of success, especially, you're not accustomed to it and your dream is so big that in your, it's like you're doubting yourself, or you're fearful that you won't be able to accomplish that, or you step out or you tell someone about your dream because it's so big and they're laughing in your face or making fun of you or telling you what they're going to say or what they're going to do, or you know um, in that regard. So it's that fear of failing, fear of success, fear of being visible, fear of what someone else may say, what others may say and or do. All of those things come up along with our own fear, and our limiting beliefs, which spark some of that fear, from our belief system. So that fear, or I call it the inner snake that slithers around, of course, it's going to come up. And that's what I say. Fear is normal and it's faithful. When you make the decision to change your life, to pursue your dream, to create your extraordinary life, get ready. It's not going to go away. And I think I've said this before, fear will never go away, but you have the power to control it. You have the power to take action regardless, in spite of, and you have, like I say, the power, the ability, the capacity to move, or to take action in spite of fear, so because action actually is the antidote, it is the answer, it is the solution to fear. So understanding that fear is normal, is never going to go away, but you get great at moving in spite of. You get great at handling fear, recognizing what fear is when it comes up, how to handle it and how to move beyond it. You get great at that as step up and take power and take control and understand what it is, and make the decision to no longer allow it to hold you back. And that's what I did. It finally is like, okay, I'm stepping out and taking action regardless. I'm no longer going to allow fear to keep me stuck and to keep me miserable and unhappy and unfulfilled. I was, just wanting a life of fulfillment. Even though I had the six-figure corporate job, I wasn't fulfilled. Something was missing. I had a desire for more for my life than just that, going to this 9 to 5, that was draining all my energy. And I've said it before, there was weeks I can go back and look at my journal. There were times where I'm like, okay, did I ever work a full week, this month or within these 2 months, when I looked at my journal? Because for me, my immediate manager was not on the same site. It was somewhere, a whole nother state, offsite, another state. So, and it was, either sometimes I'd call in sick, even though I wasn't, really sick. I think it's more of a mental thing. Or sometimes I go and maybe leave for lunch and not come back until the next day, and that's just how it had gotten. So, uh, and just being unhappy and unfulfilled. But then I got to the point where, I'm no longer going to allow fear to control me. And also making a decision to leave corporate America. It wasn't a light one, but it was, okay, I got to do this. I'm going to do this. I don't want to end my life with regrets, and so I'm going to step out here and do what I can do, all that I can, because my dream, what I want for my life, is more important to me than working for someone else. But still, yet at the same time, even though the money was great, the benefits, the safety, uh, but pursuing my dream and going after what I want is more important. And that's where, the fulfillment lie for me. And I took that leap, and I'm still stepping out. At the beginning of the year, I asked, what was your theme for the year, or your mantra for the year? And one of my things is living outside of my comfort zone, which, that's where I want to be, because I know from my own journey, all that I desire, my dream is outside of my comfort zone. If I want the things that I say that I want, the dream, that I want, my extraordinary life, I know that it's outside of my comfort zone, and I want to make that a major focus this year. Personally, I've always been a risk taker. Now those risks are a little more calculated than previously when I was much younger and just taking some stupid risk. But now they're more calculated and in line with, what I want for my life. Sometimes I still take a one risk or two that's not so calculated. But like I say, so taking a risk has never been really an issue for me. But I know that it is for someone, because when you step out of your comfort zone, that's scary. That's change. If you're not used to that, taking a risk, that's scary, because you're stepping out of your comfort zone. And the results when you take that risk, you may not get what you want, and you don't want to end up looking foolish or whatever. But you have to take that risk, especially when it comes to creating your extraordinary life, living your dream. And that's what I say. But fear will always come up, and part of fear too is, what are your limiting beliefs? What is in your belief system that is limiting you, that will cause that fear to come up? And I've talked about this before, your limiting beliefs, when you start doing something or that you've never done before. Which, when it comes to pursuing your dream, you haven't taken these kind of actions before, because when it comes to pursuing your dream, it requires you to upgrade or level up and start taking different actions that you may not have taken before. Um, and those are new, so your subconscious mind is like, hey, wait a minute, what are you doing? And especially maybe if you're taking an action before and it didn't work out, and you try to step up and take that action again, or some similar action, and your subconscious mind is like, okay, here we go again. Or going back to, as I said, not keeping your word to yourself. And there's a video I talked about that, the number one way to build trust with yourself, and that's keeping your word. But if you've been habitual about not keeping your word, that is in your subconscious mind. So when you step out and make a decision and start doing something, but you got to work on that belief, that limiting belief, and replace that, as well as rebuild your trust with yourself, because all of that will bring up the fear, will bring up the inner snake, the inner critic, that's all within you, not just what's outside of you or the external. But our biggest issue is with ourselves, what we got going on between our ears and what we got in our heart, but mainly in our headspace. If you follow me, I'm a big believer, our minds are our most valuable asset, and it is our biggest issue with us creating our dream life, pursuing our dreams, creating that extraordinary life. And that is the battle with what's going on in here and in here. So once we work on that and understand what fear is, understand that it's not going to go away, but we get better at recognizing it. We get better at processing it. We get better at moving regardless, so that we can create our extraordinary life and live the life that we desire and deserve, that we're meant to have, and not settle just because, or settle because of fear and all those, like I said, the various things that I talked about: the fear of failing, fear of success, fear of being visible, fear of what somebody may say or do. But in the bottom line is, How do you want to, when it comes to the end of your life, which we don't know when that's going to happen, but you don't want to look back on it and let it be filled with regrets. So fear is normal, it's not going to go away, but you can get better at understanding what it is, when it shows up, how to handle it, how to process it, and how to move beyond it or move in spite of. And it's faithful when it comes to leveling up, creating your extraordinary life, doing something different, stepping out of your comfort zone that that is not in your subconscious mind. And that all goes back with, and a part of that and handling that, of course, is the limiting beliefs, recognizing that they are limiting you and replace them. That goes back, I talk about a daily mindset practice. Do you have one to replace those limiting beliefs? Do you have one to put your mind in a positive, positive state and get yourself in high vibration so that you can attract and create and manifest your extraordinary life as well? So all of those things play a part, but I just want to let you know that fear, if you don't know by now, fear is normal and is always faithful when you get ready to level up or up level your life. So are you going to continue to allow it to keep you stuck and hold you back and in your life with regrets, or are you going to say no to fear and create your extraordinary life? Once again, this is Patricia of JourneyToBestMe.com, all about helping women unleash her and create her extraordinary life and live fierce, fabulous, and fulfilled.